In the name of Allah, the omnipotent, the merciful, my brothers, Your Royal Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of Qatar, Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, monarchs and heads of Arab and Muslim states, Your Excellency Ahmed Abul Ghaid, the Secretary General of the League of Arab States, Your Excellency Mr. Hussein Taha, the Secretary General of OIC. May God's peace be upon you all. At the outset, I would like to express my deep appreciation to His Royal Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and the State of Qatar for hosting this important summit, which is convened at a very critical moment amid grave challenges faced by the entire region, where Israel attempts to turn into a legitimized battle of violations, which matter undermines the stability of the entire region and represents a grave threat to the international peace and security and the well-established principles of the international system. I would like to convey to the leadership and people of the brotherly state of Qatar, Egypt's total solidarity and support with their brothers in the face of this malicious Israeli attack on Qatar, which constitutes a flagrant and blatant violation of the international law, the UN Charter, and it is also a grave, unprecedented threat to the Arab and Muslim security. Let me make it clear. This belligerence reflects clearly that the Israeli practices have gone beyond any diplomatic or military logic, and above all, they have crossed all red lines. We strongly condemn the Israeli belligerence on Qatar, on the sovereignty and security of an Arab state, playing a pivotal role as a mediator together with Egypt and the United States, aiming to reach a ceasefire in Gaza, bring the war to an end, and also bring the unprecedented suffering of the Palestinian population to a halt. I also warn the uncontrolled, unhinged Israeli behaviors would widen the circle of conflict and plunge the entire region into further escalation, which cannot be tolerated. While Egypt is calling the international community to live up to their legal and ethical responsibility to ensure the Israeli attacks would never recur and to bring the belligerent war to an end, including the necessary matter of bringing those responsible for the grave violations to accountability and to put an end to the state of impunity that has been the answer to all Israel's practices. Yet it has come clear that the aggressive, belligerent approach adopted by the Israeli authorities is a hidden intent to undermine any attempts to reach a ceasefire and have all the Israeli captives and Palestinian detainees released. This approach proves that the Israeli officials have no genuine intention to have peace established in the region. Israel's hubris and unhinged action require us, as the leaders of both the Arab and Muslim worlds, to act together to lay down foundations and principles reflective and representative of our shared interests. The League of Arab States has handed down a resolution titled "The Shared Vision of Cooperation within the region can be the nucleus to build upon as a linchpin to security and stability in the region, and also to lay down the necessary mechanism to address this critical moment as we are living in a state of condition where we cannot tolerate any hegemony which would undermine the sovereignty, stability, or security of any Arab or Muslim state. Israel must understand that their security and stability cannot be established by the policy of force, aggression and belligerence, yet by respect to the sovereignty of Arab and Muslim states, which cannot be undermined under any pretext. These principles are firm and non-negotiable. Therefore, the entire world must realize that Israel policies undermines any likelihood of establishing peace in the region and turns a blind eye to the international law, the established humanitarian norms and values. Any such demeanor would bring about not but more instability and escalation, and will bring about graver consequences on the regional and international peace and security. And to the Israeli people, I say, what is taking place undermines any future likelihood of peace. It also undermines your security and regional security. And it lays down more obstacles before or on the road of any new peace agreements. And above all, it eviscerates the existing peace proposals. And again, the region will plunge once again in the mayhem of conflict and will waste decades of efforts aiming at building peace, a heavy price which we all pay without exception. Make no mistake that the efforts made by our ancestors cannot be allowed to go down the drain. Egypt reiterates its total rejection to the targeting of civilians and the policies of collective punishment and starvation exercised by Israel in Gaza Strip. As a result, tens of thousands of civilians have fallen victims over the past 2 years. I here emphasize that military solutions and undermining mediation efforts in an attempt to create a new reality by belligerent force will not bring about any stability or security to either party. And within this context, Egypt will continue with its unshaken support to the steadfastness of the Palestinian people and the restoration of their lawful rights, and will stand up to any attempts aiming at undermining these unalienable rights, whether by illegal settlement, annexation of land, or forcible transfer of the Palestinians, or uprooting the Palestinian population out of their homeland under false pretext. Egypt once again reiterates their total rejection of any proposals which may be conducive to forcibly transferring the Palestinians out of their homeland. They are groundless in law or in ethics. It will bring about nothing but will widen the circle of conflict and shake the foundation of stability in the entire region. Time is opportune to seriously and firmly deal with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict as the key to security and stability in the region. The total and comprehensive solution to the focal cause of both the Arab and Muslim world stands upon ending the occupation and the establishment of the sovereign independent Palestinian state on the 1967 border with East Jerusalem as its capital. And within this context, Egypt is looking forward to that the two-state solution to be held on September 22nd at a high level along with the UN General Assembly in New York will be a milestone on the course of establishing a lasting and comprehensive solution to the Palestinian conflict, namely by the recognition of the State of Palestine. And here I renew the call to immediately recognize the State of Palestine by all the states who have not yet. This is the only means to maintain the two-state solution alive. This is a defining moment which demands us to be united. This unity will be a solid foundation to stand up to the challenges faced our region, to steer away from plunging into more chaos, conflicts, or allowing to create new realities that dictate new circumstances on the ground. Our message today is clear. Any assault to our sovereignty cannot be tolerated. All attempts to undermine peace efforts cannot be tolerated. We will stand united, defending and safeguarding the Arab and Muslim interest, namely the right of the Palestinian people to establish their independent sovereign state and live in dignity and freedom. Finally, our stance must change the perspective. The enemy is looking at us, who believe that any Arab states from the Gulf to the ocean, this perspective, in order to be changed, require firm recommendations that must be put into implementation in order to deter any adventurous politician. At this defining historical moment, we are required to create an Arab and Muslim mechanisms of cooperation which enable us to stand up to all security, political, and economical challenges facing us. The establishment of these dynamics now will be a forefront to reinforce our efforts and take necessary, tangible measures to safeguard our security and protect our shared interests. Egypt, as always, extends its arms to all genuine efforts aiming at establishing just and lasting peace in the Arab and Muslim world and within the region.